All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to All You Can Eat Chelsea episode 212. The original crew are here today. Javon is unable to make it due to work, uh, you know, work demands, I suppose. He's looking after some of that, which comes first, of course. And Baba there's a lot that's going on in India, which I don't want to delve into in details. So you guys all know what's happening in around the world. Baba's just sort of taking a bit of time away from all of that. So hopefully he's doing well, and everyone around him is doing well as well. Yunus, my man, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm good, brother. I think we've had a great week. On a football level. We've had one hell of a week. And I hope that it continues into this weekend. Overall, I'm really happy. Really calm, away from football. Things are good. So, yeah, happy days.
Lovely jubbly, bro. Lovely jubbly, as Yunus would say. Matisse, Yunus is right, bro. Not just from our side, things have been going well, but other results have also fell into our, lap. Nottingham Forest dropping points, which is helping us a lot. And yeah, man, how's your week been? Because you've been beaming with smiles in Big Six show, which has been fantastic to see. Because you're always getting the tough end of the stick over there, but it's good to see you're buzzing, bro.
No, it's been good, bro. It's been a very good week. Good performances, important wins. I think obviously the other London club not being in the Champions League anymore, that helps because we got to keep them 2 stars. We got to keep defending our European heritage. You know what I mean? Our European heritage is something to be proud of, something that no one else has got in this city. So it's nice to know that that's pretty much set in stone and we'll carry on. So
yes,
very big week. And also just because of it's who's playing well. There's big players that cost big money, or big players that have delivered last season, like Palmer, who are now had a good performance against Liverpool, very good performance, proper performance. It's the fact that they're the ones that are showing up, which is important as well. So yeah, man, very good week. Very good week.
100%, man. I mean, how can we not talk a little bit about Arsenal? Like we must. Everyone's made it to the final. Man United and Spurs in their worst season have made it to a final. We're in our sort of mediocre era, and we still made it to a final as well, albeit, Conference League. We're going to talk about that. Man City in their worst season have made it to a FA Cup final. Liverpool have won the league when they were not expected to win. It's good times, bro. Arsenal,
Newcastle have won.
Newcastle have won. How could we forget?
Can we add
Crystal Palace?
London club, Palace, are in a final?
Crystal Palace. I mean, both of you lads, I know you know a lot of Arsenal, friends, and you come across. I know, Yunus, you probably don't anymore because you're in Dubai. But back when you were in London, you'd bump onto so many Arsenal. And I know Matisse probably has a huge Arsenal, fan base that's always circulating. I mean, I'll start with Matisse and then I'll ask Yunus. Matisse, how good does it feel knowing that this London club, they're never gonna make it, bro? They're never ever gonna make it.
Brother, listen. This week was problematic. Do you know what I mean? We had to have that situation sorted. For me, our club, what we've done in Europe, it means a lot. Do you know what I mean? We know the Premier League heritage needs to be improved. We know that we shouldn't really be around the Evertons and Sunderlands of this world. That needs to be corrected. But we need to find some consistency in that. The European heritage is what makes us stand out, right? That's what makes us stand out amongst other London clubs and even in the country, because we're only one Champions League away from Man United. And we all know that it could have been flip 3-2 if, the Moscow went a different way for us. So And how many times have we been, cheated out of quarters and semis, penalties we should have been given, goals that didn't cross the line? So it's something to build on. It's something to realistically actually build on and say, do you know what? Outside of Liverpool, we can be the next club in terms of most Champions Leagues, etc. And that's something that I take very seriously. You know what I mean? I take it very seriously. I don't want my ops getting a sniff. I don't even want them getting a sniff of success in this competition in particular.
I love it.
I don't want them even grasping the understanding, comprehending what it's like to even be in a final, to walk past the trophy, let alone lift it. So
you want their sense of smell to just disappear.
Yeah.
You can't smell nothing.
No sense of smell, no taste, no touch. You know what I mean? Don't even get anywhere near it. So
social distance yourselves.
Yeah. And it buys us a bit of time, because if they had won it this season, all hell would have broken loose. I'll be honest, all hell would have broken loose. So I don't want to keep having to hope and rely on others taking care of our business, doing our dirty work for us. We have to start getting our hands dirty again. We've been a little bit, manicures, pedicures last couple of years, massages, sleeping, not really awake. We need to start getting our hands dirty and start getting involved and start, being in conversations to lift things and then lift it. So, but yeah, right now that week, it went perfectly. We got to rest a load of players in our game. We all knew we was going to the final. Let's be honest. Do you know what I mean? Jurgen Garden. All they did was fuck you, Chelsea. That's what they do. Yeah, that's what they do. They took over Stamford Bridge, started buying up tickets in family stands and all sorts. Do you know what I mean? I know exactly how that happened. Do you know what I mean? It's not hard. You get a membership, 2 days, you can buy a general sale, bang, you're in. So clubs got to look at that. But to be honest, if we weren't in that competition, if we were in the Europa League or Champions League, that doesn't happen in the first place. Exactly. You just don't get to that point. So that's why we need to be out of this competition. I think when you're in a European semi-final and half the stadium's empty, I think everybody knows, okay, cool, this is not good enough. This is not where we should be. So it's good. It's good. I think everybody knows what we need to do. We need to get a result against Newcastle and then hopefully kick on and get Champions League football, man. That's where we need to be.
Yunus, let's get this Conference League victory against Djurgården out of the way until we talk about some serious stuff. Obviously, that's the latest match that we've had. We've got to talk about it. Yunus, I said after the first of all, I don't know about you. I think you two were actually watching. I did a double watch along, but I didn't even watch Chelsea game at all. Like I just saw bits and pieces. I was really just watching Real Betis and Fiorentina. In my review, I was just like, every time I watched it, I was falling asleep. Every time I watched the Chelsea game, I was falling asleep. So I was like, I don't have much to say. All I know that Keenan Dewsbury-Hall scored, Tyreek assisted, and the rest, I'm not really sure what happened. I just know that the kids got an opportunity and we're in the final, and I'll see you all in the final. Let's talk about the Real Betis and Fiorentina match. I mean, Yunus, wow. I never want to be in this competition ever again. Never. This is the one last, even if we qualify again sometime down the track, I wanted to just give it away. Give it to Brentford, give it to Fulham, just give it away. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Look, if we actually end up winning this, the one thing that we wanted from this competition would have been fulfilled, which is to complete the set. We're the only club in the world that would have won every single trophy that is available to participate in by a football club. So that we'd be the only ones to be able to say that. That's the only reason anyone thought, okay, this is the one positive about taking part in this competition. And we would have done it. So that's it. I agree. If worse comes to worse and we end up getting ourselves qualifying for this again, just give it away. I'm not interested. Just forfeit it. Here's your place. You can have it back. We're not taking part. And this is why I agree with what Matisse said. We need to get our sleeves rolled up and start acting serious again. Because we don't belong here, man. It's as simple as that. I mean, I say we don't belong here. The final is going to be the first tough and real game of this whole competition.
The one and only real game in this entire competition for us.
We got to take that seriously. But the lead up to the final has just been a joke. I mean, yeah, the fact that there was 20,000 odd empty seats yesterday or whatever it was, flipping
Wow.
Swedes
And that was
getting
off the
memberships.
back of the last Conference League home game. I can't remember who we played.
Legia Warsaw.
Yeah, Warsaw.
Legia Warsaw. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was also like a lot empty, 10,000,
Yeah,
15,000 empty.
Yeah. But yesterday was in some ways worse because how you get that amount of fans jumping from the away into the home, and they actually done it legally. They done it by obtaining Chelsea home tickets. It's just absolutely outrageous. But it just goes to show in the Champions League, this doesn't happen. It's a sellout. Even Europa League semi-final, it tends to be a sellout. If you're playing Bilbao, for example, that's not happening. Fans will show up.
Yeah.
So yeah, we don't belong here. We don't belong here. Just this should not happen. So this whole competition needs to cease. We take the trophy, we stick it in the cabinet, and we pretend it never happened. It's as simple as that. That's
we
it.
move on.
We don't look at it again.
Do you know what's crazy to me is there's such an easy solution to this, for this not to happen. Just create transfer windows for the ticketing system. This is your period in the summer to get a membership. Once the period is gone and the fixtures are announced, so then the rivals start seeing what dates and when we play at Stamford Bridge and start thinking about tickets, closed. Same for maybe January, before knockout ties of European competition, before the draw's done, before we know who's playing who. Winter window open. Memberships.
I like this idea, you know.
Right?
Get
your
transfer
membership
windows.
for Chelsea fans, because we don't, the opposition and the rivals don't know if they're playing Chelsea, so they're not going to buy memberships just to buy. Bang, buying them, get your memberships. Once we figure out, once the knock closed, and then that's it. They don't open again, and then that's it. If you got your membership, you got it. If you don't, you don't. So I think there's probably other things, other ideas. There's ways of stopping.
I like
this.
that idea, bro.
Simple,
I think that's a nice idea.
They just need to get that under control, man, because that's crazy work.
No, even another thing that could be done is, okay, for a game like that, right? Last minute, you need the bare minimum of a couple of loyalty points on your account. You would have had to buy a shirt, or you'd had to buy something, something. So then you can show that it's not just any Tom, Dick, or Harry that can just get a ticket. That's what happened yesterday, because you could have just rocked up, buy a membership, your account has come through. All right, go on, general sale, buy the ticket. That's what happened. Yeah, that shouldn't be happening. Should not be happening. But again, the caveat is, if we're in the Champions League, this isn't even an issue.
This doesn't happen.
It won't exist. So yeah, this competition, we've taken part. Great. We've not enjoyed it. Right, but we'll stick it in the cabinet. Great. Don't talk about it ever again. I do not want to look at this competition ever again. Do
you know what? You're all right. Like, not only don't talk about it, I'm not even sure if I'm ever going to mention down the track that, do you know what? Season 24-25, we were the Conference League champions, you know? Like, no, don't even say it.
Never.
It's not even...
The only way it gets a reference is if this team goes on to start dominating. And then we can say maybe that was the first taste of silverware for Caicedo, for Enzo, for Palmer, for Jackson, for Colwell, for Chalobah, etc. And you say, right, it wasn't the biggest of trophies, but that trophy gave them the taste.
Catapulted. Yeah.
But they got us, they got to actually become winners then after winning this. Do you know what I mean? They can't be, we win this trophy, then next season we're trophyless, and it's like, all right, well then what are we doing here? Do you know what I mean? We're not kicking on. I need an FA Cup. I need a Carabao Cup. I want to win at Wembley. I don't really care if people think the Carabao Cup is some Carabobbins. You give me a Carabao Cup final against one of the big six teams, and I'm turning up like it's a Champions League final, because as far as I'm concerned, it's another trophy on the list. We're not.
Matisse, I don't think Carabao Cups are a joke anymore. Carabao Cups are not a joke. I don't take it as a joke. It
should never have been a joke. I don't understand. Like, even when Arsenal fans, they look down on the Carabao Cup or whatever, I don't understand how anyone's looking down on any silverware. You've seen your teams go through cycles of not winning things. Yeah. Why would you not want to win anything you can get your hands on? It's never made sense to me. Like, I just don't get it. It's mad. I don't know what the word is, but it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me.
Well, Arsenal fans have not won the Carabao Cup or the League Cup since 91 or 92. So for them, it's like every time they flip and try, they fail. So there's no room for them to talk on that one, if I'm honest. But we would know the importance of a competition like that, especially the Carabao Cup. And why? Because it doesn't come at the end of the season. It comes halfway through the season.
Correct.
That can be a catapult. And we had a
morale booster
catapult in 2005. That was our first trophy. And then we went on to win the league. It gives a sense of a taste of winning and what can be achieved. You know, the baseline for you to go and shoot up for even higher things. So I hope the Conference League, if we do end up winning it, will execute that sort of feeling. But the Carabao Cup shouldn't be disrespected. It's a trophy. You saw the final this year between Newcastle and
Liverpool. That was a good final, man. Newcastle played brilliantly.
It was, yeah. And that could be the catapult for Newcastle.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Do you know what I want to add as well, actually, from last night is Walsh. Walsh needs his credit because that guy is 16 years of age, still studying for biology, chemistry, and physics, and he's come out with GCSE exams on the horizon and played at Stamford Bridge at 16 years old. That is such a
big achievement.
That is a massive, massive achievement. You got to put yourself in his shoes as a 16-year-old kid, right? And think to yourself, if you were playing for Chelsea first team on a European semi-final, no matter the competition, and then you had school, like afterwards, and imagine going back into school. Can you imagine going back into school
right now?
But can you imagine going into school?
He's in class right now.
Imagine, like, just put yourself in his shoes. Imagine going into school the following morning. You've played for Chelsea Football Club, right? You've played alongside Reece James. You've played right next to Cucurella. You've played right next to
it's unreal. It's unreal.
Sancho, right? And you're going into school the next morning, school in uniforms, tie, shirt, and you're walking into school. Hey, this brother's gonna get so many gal.
I was just gonna say he's gonna get girls. Like, girls be throwing themselves. He needs to calm himself down, though. Like, he needs to say, "Look,
do you know what's mad?
Bro,
let's calm down."
It's mad enough, right? At that level, when you talk about school, it's mad enough for you to have just played for the school team the afternoon before, and everyone's talking about it. Like, oh, that getting me, like we won or whatever. Or you guys smashed it. Like, that's just that is enough, bruv. You rock up. You've played for Chelsea Football Club in a European semi-final. You're a god. Like, you're a god. It's mad.
Bro, he should be allowed. He should be allowed to just have an open book exam. Like in the exam, just have the book open, copy the notes, do whatever you want to do. For you, everything is exempt. Do you know what I mean? So now, hopefully, this kid, that was one of the bright spots. Obviously, players like Achapong getting up, time to play, Tariq George, but yes, Reggie Walsh as well, and the fact that what Reece James said post match as well. That would be huge for him. The way Reece James bigged him up. He said, look, I've seen him in training. I thought he was good, but I've seen him play. Fucking hell, he's good. And I was like, wow, that for Reggie Walsh, that is huge. I just hope that, I just hope that Chelsea Football Club, you've got a plan. Like, you need to have a pathway for these kids that they don't become the next Lewis Bate, who is, I think, in second division or League One or League Two or something like that. Like, there's plenty of Chelsea academy players that we've all picked up and they've not done. Who's the other guy?
We had Lewis Baker. We had
Lewis Baker.
Josh
but recently
was a side
Matisse. Recently, there was another one that they were big enough who went to Charlie Webster. Where's Charlie Webster?
But you know what? You know what I was thinking when I was watching Walsh? And then I was thinking when I watched myself, Matisse Mugu. I thought, wow, I've been upstaged by a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
I cost 14 million.
Yeah.
And 16-year-olds upstaged me. The 16-year-old looks more comfortable on the ball than I do.
Yes.
Why
Yes.
are we so ready all the time to take third, fourth string level of young player from all these other clubs? I remember someone in my chat, I think it was Acid. Oh, Mugu, he's going to be incredible. You haven't watched him. Look what we produce.
Yep.
Why are we pretending like any Tom, Dick, and Harry can come into this club because they're young? Do you understand what we produce? Do you understand what comes through the academy? This is normal to us. We always produce good young players. And the funny thing is, I'm not even asking for these young players to make it. Just develop them. You get pure profit. I'm helping you make money.
Exactly.
Why are you spending 10 million to sell for 15 when you can spend no money to make 20? You know how highly Cobham is rated in this country. Everybody knows that Cobham is the shit. So they look to Cobham to get the next batch. So they say, yo, if you're not using that one, can I get it? Can I get it? I say, yeah. Let me develop the player, get 10, 15, 20 games. If I ain't got no space, Bob, 20 million. Bang, 20 million. I'm helping you make money. Use your brains. Do you know what I mean?
Reggie Walsh.
Dyer is a talent. Samuel Smith is a talent. They're not even, Samuel Smith is not even registered. He should be playing left back instead of Cucurella. We're wasting time. Money I have to make.
Even Tyreek George, he was looking really good, man. Tyreek George played a nice game.
Josh as well.
Josh, he was playing lovely through the middle. Yeah.
Now, there are some that will look and go, okay, fair enough. Look, we played against Joe Garden. All right, cool. For Reggie Walsh, that doesn't apply. Everyone else, okay, to an extent, I get it. But to Reggie Walsh, you have to understand, as we've already established, this guy is in a class right now getting ready to do his GCSEs. He's 16. It's his first senior appearance. His debut. He's not played to a senior level, and he went and done 90 minutes yesterday without a mistake. There was no mistake from him. Where you're looking, like Matissa said, when you're bringing Matissa Mugu on, someone that we've signed, or you're bringing whoever on, players that we've signed, and you bring them on, even against a Joe Garden, there's errors, there's mistakes. Yeah. They're not having the best game.
They don't look comfortable, Eunice. They don't look comfortable.
But Reggie at 16, coming to this level, to a senior level, for first exposure, and playing 90 minutes, maintaining that physical level, as well as not making any errors, looking flawless, being really comfortable on and off the ball, that deserves a lot of credit. To him, that deserves a lot of credit, because he is not at the level as the rest of the senior squad, but he played like he was. And that's his first exposure. So huge credit. It's a European semi-final against a senior team. Regardless, as an academy player, credit to him. Credit. He deserves that credit. Anyone else, I can understand. But I wouldn't want to undermine what he's done just because we played Joe Garden or make it look like he didn't do a good job. No, for Reggie Walsh specifically, I think he deserves all the credit.
Specifically Reggie Walsh, because he's 16. This is a... when we make fun, Chelsea's got a lot of kids. This is a kid. 16.
He looks 12.
He's a proper kid, and Joe Garden have men. They've got adults playing over there. It's a 16-year-old playing against adults, at a professional level. It should not be disregarded. I just hope that we do the right thing by him. We have a nice development plan for him. Obviously, finish off your education, my man. That's number one. And then hopefully we've got a nice plan. Matisse, before we talk about Liverpool and Newcastle, because we really do need to talk about that Liverpool performance, just touch base on that, and then that could transition to Newcastle. I just want to quickly ask you about Real Betis. I don't know if you caught any of it yesterday. I actually watched a lot of it.
I didn't know.
These guys, they're a good team. I still believe on our day, if we have the kind of performance that we had against Liverpool, we'll smoke them. But they can be a bit of a problem. Anthony, I don't know what has happened to him, because this is not the same Anthony we saw in Man United. He's playing with a lot more flair. His shots are hitting the target. Yeah, he's proper, he's their main guy. And then obviously they've got Isco as well, who's still yes, he's older now, but the brains is still there. Do you know what I mean? He can see the pass. He's a bit of a visionary over there. And I realized yesterday they've got Bellerin from Arsenal. He's playing as well in the right back position. So look, they've got some nice little smart players over there. They're, I think, 6th in La Liga. They've beaten Real Madrid this season. I think they've drawn twice against Barcelona. Live chat, let me know if I've mistaken there. I think they've beaten Atletico Madrid as well. Like, they've beaten proper teams. Matisse, are you any bit weary about this team, or you're thinking, you know what, nah, let's finish this, let's take care of business, and let's move on?
It has to be a professional performance. Like, it didn't matter really who we got. I think it would have been a similar type game in terms of they got threats, they've got good players. We're not playing Legia Warsaw now. We're not playing Jura Gordon. We're not playing Aramarty. We're not playing, I don't know, bro. We're not playing
FC Noah.
Yeah, we're not playing Noah's Ark. We're not playing teams where give them a transition 2v2 and then they'll sky it into the crowd on a shot, you know, or if you press them, you can get the ball off them around their goalkeeper. Like, this is now a standard of football that we have to really respect and say, yo, we need to turn up. As long as we turn up, we're professional and we play to our level, we win the game 2-0. In my opinion, we win the game 2-0, win the game 3-1. That's the kind of final I expect it to be. Not a disrespectful final, but a very professional, comfortable final. However, if we play around and we mess around and we want to do silly things, we'll get punished. This is a Europa League. As far as I'm concerned, we're playing Europa League level team now. This is the first time in this competition that we're playing a Europa League level team. It's been Conference League the whole way, preseason friendlies, Soccer Aid, you know, Borders League. It's been all of that. Now it's actually a standard. Yeah, now it's actually a standard. But the 2 times we win the Europa League, we won them both. You know what I mean? So we shouldn't really be playing with our food. As long as we turn up with the strongest 11, Palmer's on it. We have to Caicedo, Lavia, Enzo. These are not jokers. These guys have to put away Betis. Absolutely. And we have to, and then Cucurella's got to just shut down Anthony and just don't let him unleash the rocket of a left foot that he's got. But yeah, I'm not contemplating not winning this because I'm not preparing for that. I said it to Miz on the phone yesterday. I'm not preparing for. I'm not Walsh.
It's not in our thought process.
Yeah, I'm not in school. I'm not Walsh. I'm not studying for this exam. I'm not preparing for this exam. I'm just gonna turn up,
just rocking up,
with up all to the paper,
raw knowledge that you have.
Yeah, and we just go and pass. I'm just gonna I'm gonna open that book for the first time. That Betis team, we just go and pass. I know Maresca's probably watching about 30 Betis games before then. You know, I mean, he's going to study every single ounce of them, as he should. But I'm rocking up.
As a player, Yunus, Maresca was saying that he's obviously played Real Betis. It was a local derby. You know, he used to be playing for Sevilla. He's even scored in that derby where he scored and he scored the winner and won. And he was saying that the Betis fans will not, like him too much. They will definitely hate him. I mean, Yunus, are you looking forward to this final? I feel like it'll be a good game. I mean, I've not enjoyed this competition one bit, but I think this will be a nice game.
It'll be the first and only time that this competition feels serious. And thankfully, it's the final, right?
Yeah.
Because, correctly so, Real Betis. Look, Real Betis, if we're going to be honest, right? It's not where we want to be, but it's the truth of where we are. Real Betis in La Liga occupy the same sort of level as we are in the Premier League. Right? In terms of, this is probably going to be a very even match. If you look at, especially on the final where it's all guns blazing. So this is why I stress we can't take it lightly. We have to win. We can't not win this game because look, we've all had our fun at Arsenal and all them lot, but if we don't final, it's all gonna come turning back on us, man. We better hide. We better hide. So I can't have that. I can't have no way, no flipping way. So look, we gotta treat the final not for the sake of the competition that we're playing in because it's the Conference League, but
Conference Hall.
That is crazy.
That's mad.
It makes so much sense.
Damn.
It makes so much sense.
Wow.
We can't be having conference halls and all of that. Like, no, we got to have proper all out strong 11 and go all guns blazing. And on our day, like we did play against Liverpool, we should beat them. I would hope, but we got to take them seriously. So look, Maresca and getting ready. I don't think any animosity towards him is going to make much of a difference. I'll be real. It's going to be a matter of what happens on that pitch between the two sides. Real Betis are no joke.
Yeah.
Simple.
100%, man. They're definitely not a joke.
They've got Pellegrini as well. Don't underestimate Pellegrini.
Bro, Premier League winner.
Yeah,
this is not a joke. This is not a joke. Matisse, let's talk a little bit about Liverpool and Newcastle. I have to say, Eunice knows this when we did All You Can Eat Chelsea last week. By the way, Matisse, shout out to you, bro. That vlog that you went to Sweden, that was a banging vlog, bro. Seriously, that's some serious level content, bro. To anyone that hasn't watched it yet, please watch it. Like, I generally don't get time to catch up on everyone's content, but that one was like right in front of my face. And I was like, let me check this out. And I was just like glued into that. That was just so good. That content.
Swedish
I believe you.
Yeah, I've genuinely got one of the very best people in the industry.
You do
as part of my channel. Yeah,
Skull?
Wow. I've got a seriously talented individual. So,
bro, these are like movies, you know, like they're not.
Bro, he's ridiculous. Bro. I've seen obviously because he lives with me. I see him work and his eye for like cuts and music selection and just timing and script. It's quality, bro. This is the level. You know what I mean? Like I can't do much more. You know what I mean? When it comes to
you can't.
Having him on the team, this is the
pinnacle. It's the pinnacle. It really is the pinnacle. But yeah, Liverpool. I was saying to Eunice and Javon last week that I'm actually quietly confident, but I have to say it caught me by a surprise, the level of performance, because I don't know about you guys, what you guys said in your review, but I said we totally dominated Liverpool in every facet of the game. We dominated them off the ball. We've dominated on the ball. We were better than them in the attacking areas. A lot more clinical than them. We were better than them in midfield. Romeo Lavia was everywhere. Caicedo as well. Enzo Fernandez. We were better than them in defense as well. Our defenders were on the job that day. Do you know what I mean? And even our goalkeeper, I have to say, Sanchez was on the money. Matisse, were you surprised by that level of performance? Because you were in the mob watch along. Were you looking at the team going, wow, okay, I thought we were going to do well, but this is a little bit beyond what I expected?
Do you know what? It was, even against Everton, it just reminded me of earlier on in the season. A little bit the Everton performance, and then Liverpool. When I saw their team, obviously I saw the whole midfield was rested. I still felt it was a good team that they put out. I think if they were mentally checked in, it would have been more difficult. But because mentally they were all over the place, because maybe celebrations from the Premier League. As long as we turned up, we had a chance of winning for sure. It's just, you know, I never say we can't compete in these big games. It's in both boxes, are we going to do what we need to do to win? And in both boxes, we were excellent. You look at our defensive, defending in our box. You look at Chalobah, the performance that he had. Colwell looking much better next to him as well. This is why I believe that if we have a top centre-back come in that has experience, anyone that you play him next to you, or not anyone, I still sell to Sassy, but most of our defenders, you put him next to that leader, that top defender, they will improve. That's what happens in partnerships. As long as there's a balance between aggressor and a standoff guy or a guy that sweeps, and everybody understands, you know, their role, you'll see improvements. Cucurella is always, you know, locking down Saka this season, locking down Salah. And locking down Salah is no joke, because Salah's still chasing records. So he's still trying, you know what I mean? He's not chilling. But I thought Lavia, for me, bro, Lavia and Palmer were just the difference. Like that first goal, the way that Palmer
releases the ball.
Bro, it's not unlucky that Jones slipped. It's purely because Palmer's movement is so elite, and the understanding between Lavia and Palmer is just perfect that happens. And the way that Lavia just receives the ball off anyone at any time, under any pressure, he's always scanned. He always has the picture. It's almost like he's got a drone flying over the pitch, and that's what he's seeing. And then he's always forward thinking. He's always passing. And I know sometimes when these guys get injured, and we're all guilty of it, I am. It's like, bro, can I be asked, man? Can I be asked? It's like, yo, maybe we just need to just pack it up, man. Maybe we need to loan you, or we need to start thinking about selling you. But then when Lavia comes back and he plays the way he plays, and he always does this, you just think to yourself, this is why we spent 58 million. And do you know what? I know Liverpool fans, they've won the league, and people be like, oh, he's worth the money. If he's fit, he's worth the money. Because in the Champions League, we've watched players, and I ain't going to name names, who can't receive the ball on the half turn, can't receive the ball under the press, can't play the ball forward and split lines, can't break up teams. Lavia can do that. So he's
bro, name names, bro. I want some names. Names, bro.
All I know.
Just say it. Just say it, bro. I know who you want to say. Just say it. All I know
is when we get to this competition, if we get to this competition, I know Lavia can hang. I know Caicedo can hang. I know these guys can play at this level. I know this. This is why we spent the money. I wish we did it in other areas as well, but it is what it is. The midfield is very much ready to rock and roll, bro. Add Santos into that, ready to rock and roll. That's the only part of the pitch I've got no qualms. No qualms. And I've always said that. And I said Real Madrid rebuild, I've been mocked a lot, but it is what it is. I really do believe we've got one of the best midfields out there. But then Palmer's performance was life-changing, bro, because I'll be honest, if he don't turn up, I don't think we make it, you know, in the Champions League. And if he does, we got a chance. That's really what it is. Jackson got a couple of goals against Drew Gordon and Everton, but he's kind of back to Liverpool, back to his old ways a bit. That performance wasn't good.
Jackson's never going to be the X factor. Palmer's always the X factor.
Palmer was, bro. Palmer on the right, skinning Timmercast. Palmer on the left, skinning Bradley, hitting the post. Involved in every goal. Set up.
What about his cheeky shot in between the goalkeeper and the post?
Oh, bro,
cheeky, bro.
He hit that with the outside of his foot.
Yeah, he was going for. He saw the keeper out. He was going for the shot. I was like, you cheeky MF! Wow, that audacity of that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And the thing is with Palmer is when he starts playing like with confidence and a swagger, and it's just such a joy to watch, man. Yeah, such a joy to watch when he's at it and he's really on it and he really, really has a feel for the game. It's just every time he gets the ball, it's just a joy. Because now he's trying things again. Now he's, looking for the cheeky little flicks and the nutmegs or whatever. So yeah, he enjoyment, as they say. Enjoyment. This is what when he's playing well, this is what it feels like to watch him. You know what I mean? I'm enjoying. And yeah, man, it was a good win. Madueke on the left wing is big. I think that might have saved his Chelsea career, I'll be honest.
Pedro Neto was really good as well. So good, Pedro Neto, that game.
One of them had to show they could play left wing. Madueke, he's doing well.
He's doing well on that left. Yeah.
Because we all know Esteval's coming in. And Esteval keeps scoring screamers in Brazil. So I don't know. Yamal needs someone to hang with.
Bro, Esteval looking crazy. Yunus, yeah, man, that performance against Liverpool, after that game finished, I was like, you know what? If we can just, it's a matter of consistency now. Like, that is a great performance. And prior to that, I don't think we got an indication that kind of performance was coming our way. But if we can now maintain this consistency leading up to the Newcastle one, Eunice, are you feeling that hopefully it's a good finish till the end of the season? We lock on Champions League football and we'll see what happens in the transfer market, if the owners change anything or not. But right now, how do you feel? Do you feel like maybe we've just hit the right spot? Are we in the good spot at the moment? How are you feeling?
Better than before, for sure. But look, if we beat Newcastle, it's a wrap.
It's a wrap. Yeah.
The problem is, do we beat Newcastle? I had this result. I had this game written off for a while. I'm like looking at the calendar. Newcastle away. I'm like, oh, God. So even going into this game, am I expecting too much? Not really. I always had the backup of, okay, if you drop against Newcastle, you've got to compensate with the United and Forest games, especially Forest, because they're competing for the same thing. But again, I was thinking like this long before Brentford and Ipswich happened. Then Brentford and Ipswich happened. I'm like, okay, well, it's done now. It's not happening. So we're in the mud. Why? Because I didn't think we would go and beat Liverpool in the way we did. To be fair, I was expecting Liverpool to try and win the title at our place, but they got it done beforehand. So happy days. But now, because we beat Liverpool in the way that we did, I'm thinking, can we beat Newcastle now? Like, I'm starting to like, you never know. You never know. Well, look, but the thing is, if we, like I said, it's actually an important game now, because if we do go to St. James's Park, and we don't normally pick up results there. Last time we did, I think was it under Tuchel, with Reece James?
Maybe, yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
You know, St. Reece James's Park, because he smashed it.
St. Reece James's Park.
But since then, we've struggled. If we can turn that around, I think Champions League's in the pocket at that point, because Newcastle are competing with us at the same time. So
correct.
It's a game
more
where
like a must not lose kind of game. Don't lose whatever you do. Like at its
core, at its core, I wouldn't be.
If you lose, Eunice,
draw.
Yeah, because if you lose, it's Newcastle who's competing for similar paces. At least a draw, but go for the win. Do you know what I mean?
If we lose, I think Forest will beat Leicester at home, personally.
Exactly.
So if we lose, we go back down to 6th. We're a point behind Forest, who have West Ham away. Maybe that just gives them a bit of confidence now. And West Ham are absolutely god-awful.
Yep.
And Newcastle then locks it down, because if they win, they lock it down.
They're locking
with
it.
2 games left.
Then you're going potentially into City ground last day, needing to beat them.
It's a final. Yeah.
It's a final.
I think it's going down to the last day anyway. But I just think, you'd rather it go down to the last day and we be ahead of Forest than be behind them. And then Forest have to attack and they have to play on the front foot, and they don't get to sit in their low block and counter and all these things. Newcastle away, I'll take a point. I'll be honest, I'll take a point. I think regardless of what people think of Newcastle, Newcastle can always rise it for a big game. They understand how big this game is. Don't dismiss the Toonami at home at St. James's Park against a big team.
It's a different beast.
They know.
Yeah.
If they've had a great season because they've won a trophy and they're still fighting for Champions League. If they know if they beat us, they're pretty much done with Champions League. Like, they're gonna get it, because I think they're going to Arsenal afterwards. And Arsenal, I mean, I don't know what they're even doing right now.
But their season's finished. Their season's
finished. They're basically depressed. But forget Arsenal. On the final day, they're at home to Everton.
Yep.
They're going to win. If they need to beat Everton at home, they're going to beat Everton at home. It's like Man City. I don't know. I think they've got Fulham and Bournemouth. They will win the games if they need to win the games. Villa, I think, have got Tottenham and Man United last 2 games, who are focusing on Europa League, probably resting players. Just need to get a result. So with Newcastle, if you get a result, you're still ahead of Forest. Then it's on Man United at home. They probably rest players, because I think their next game is the Conference League final. So we should be beating United at home, even though it could be a low block and all that. Man United should be rotating. And then it's a straight shootout on the last day. You got to prepare for Forest to just not drop any more points. I think they've given us quite enough 3 defeats out of the last 5. If we're still asking for more favors and we can't handle it from here, then we got something wrong with us.
Yeah, exactly.
100%. I mean,
It's
Eunice, you go on, bro.
No, I was going to say it's a must. There was a second part of I didn't answer your question. That's the Newcastle end of things, and how coming into this game, if we treat it seriously enough, if we get 3 points, Champions League, pretty much we're 1 foot there, right?
Yeah.
The Liverpool game, I want to say, I was so happy with seeing the way that we played, how we picked up that result, how efficient and clinical we were. We ended that game with 35% possession, but we had the more chances. We had the more clear-cut chances. We looked more dominant on the times that we had the ball, but we didn't have too much of the ball. But we stayed on business and we shut it down. And that is something that Stamford Bridge identifies with.
Correct.
That's why, like, even on the day, everyone was so raucous, because that's, to use the term, that's proper Chelsea.
Proper Chelsea.
That's what we do. You know, especially against top teams, we don't need the ball. We've always functioned that way. But when we have it, get the ball from A to B as quickly as possible and kill. When I see my team do that, right, where we're so defensively, we're robust. Lavia was a big part of that. But when we're robust, and then when we go on the attack, we're quick, we blitz, we catch teams from behind, we're a bit more cutthroat, and we bury. That's what we do. That's how we function. And I know some people are going to say, that you can't do that against all teams, because some teams are going to just try and sit back and not do much. I honestly believe there are ways of being able to force them out, right? Give them the psychological pretense of there's something that you can get from this game. Come and get it. Take the bait. And as soon as they do, kill.
Yeah.
You know,
false sense of security. False sense of security,
do that. Even being a defensive team, but when Everton rocked up to the Bridge, you just knew we'd win 2-0. Or, you know, but Burnley rock up to the Bridge and it's a 1-0 win. It's standard, but you know there's a plan and we execute it.
Do you know there's a saying, like, you can control the game without the ball? Like, you can control the game without the ball. You don't need to have the ball and still control the game. And I felt like that's what we did against Liverpool. We controlled the game. Betis, go on, bro. Yeah.
That, just to say, this Newcastle game, I'd say this is the first time since the 16th of March where, in my opinion, we're going into a game and we're not favourites, right?
Agreed.
Every game since then, even Liverpool last week, because of the circumstances and the rotation and the drunken behaviour during the week, every game I've been kind of expecting us to get a good result, just purely because, you know, we're home to Tottenham, Derby, but they're shit. Everton, Ipswich, whatever. This game here, this is a statement. This is by far and away the biggest game of our season so far. By far.
The biggest.
The biggest. Because we know that Newcastle away is a tough game. We know that Newcastle are a balanced team back to front. We know Newcastle are a physical team. We know Newcastle got technical ability as well with Aycec. Yeah. If we can get a win in this game, statement win. This is a real statement win. This is bigger than last week, bigger than Tottenham at home, bigger than any fixtures in between that.
Matisse, both teams competing for Champions League. Both teams competing for Champions League.
Exactly. Like, we're playing a team that's mentally switched on.
This is, I don't think we've played a bigger game than this season. Both teams going for same objective. Yeah. So there's a lot that is going to be riding on this game, man. I want to quickly ask both of you guys before we talk about some transfer stuff that's been circulating around. We'll go with Matisse first. How do you see this game sort of panning out? Like, both teams needing, I mean, both teams would love a victory, but at the same time, both teams wouldn't want to lose this. Both teams going for Champions League positions. We don't necessarily always like to sit back and just soak up the pressure. Like, we want to also show our flair. I mean, we can play without the ball. We've shown that against Liverpool, but we still showed our flair up front. Newcastle at home. I still remember this season what they did to Arsenal earlier on, where they beat them up. I think it was in the Carabao Cup, or was it in the FA Cup? Can't remember, but they smoked Arsenal at their home ground. Yeah. How do you see this? Like, do you think it'll be a cagey affair, or do you think, this is going to be two teams clashing big time?
I can see a cagey game. I think everybody on both sides has a right to be nervous. I'm looking at the table. We're level on points. We're level on goal difference. I can genuinely see this top 5 race being decided by goal difference. Honestly, because if this is a draw and Nottingham Forest win, which is very likely that this just ends in a 1-1 and Nottingham Forest beat Leicester, everybody's locked in on 64 points. And then Villa play Bournemouth. That's a tough game away. I think Bournemouth are literally 8th. Villa could have 63, or they could just drop off. That could be the end of it for Villa. We could be going into the last day level on points with Forest and Newcastle, and it's just goal difference. And thankfully, our goal difference is way superior to Nottingham Forest. But that's how close it could be. Goals scored, I think Newcastle are outdoing us at the moment, so that's why we'd be below them. But I can honestly see a draw, because I remember Maresca going into big games at the start of the season, and I remember his mentality of just don't lose. Especially when Lavia's available. He used to play him a lot in those big games as well. I don't think Chelsea want to risk losing to win, in my opinion, because I think the mathematics I'm calculating and the Man United Friday fixture at Stamford Bridge, late kickoff, fans are going to be on it at the Bridge, flags are going to be waved on the shed end, Man United are going to be rotating for the Conference League. We're winning that game.
You're saying let's be pragmatic here. Let's be pragmatic.
I want this.
Let's not get emotion. Let's not get emotions take over us.
I want this over and done with. No one wants this over and done with more than me. However, what I don't want is a Brendan Rodgers gung-ho Liverpool at home to Chelsea. Remember? Under Mourinho. I don't want us not understanding the mathematics and doing something stupid, because we cannot lose this game. I need people. We cannot lose this game.
Yeah.
You lose this game.
Must not lose.
And it's a problem in terms of the last game, because now you're really playing into Nottingham Forest's hands. As long as we go into that last game ahead of Nottingham Forest, I think we're good. But in my mystic math, I had us behind Nottingham Forest going into the last game. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So if we go in ahead of them, I think we can do it. If we go in behind them, we are going to be stressed on those watch-alongs. We are going to be stressed in the away end. We are going to be stressed if we go to Nottingham Forest on the last day and we're behind them in the table and we need to beat them, and then you see the dirty tactics that they're going to play with Elanga on the break, we are going to be bricking it as a fact. I don't want that for us. We don't deserve that. And I have to mention, Nottingham Forest is, I think, 3 days before Conference League final. So you don't want to be going to Nottingham Forest absolutely going crazy and then turning up against Betis tired. So I'm really trying to juggle that Nottingham Forest Betis situation.
Imagine we don't make Champions League and we don't win against.
We don't imagine these things. We're not imagining. We're not imagining. We're not imagining. This is why I don't need that Nottingham Forest to be a war zone. And this is why I wanted it done early. I don't think people I don't want that Nottingham Forest to be blood, thunder, tears. You know how much they're going to kick? They're going to 2-foot tackles. They're nasty. They can get nasty.
And then on top of that, if Calamuton-Odoi scores a winner.
Oh, and then we got Betis. So we need to be ahead of them. We've got to be ahead of them. So then they are uncomfortable in that game. Because if they have to play out and they have to step on it and move forward, we know how good we are in terms of just, play out and bang on the little transition. We got Neto, Madueke. I like us in that situation. I don't want to see low block. I don't want to see, Sell, the former Strasbourg keeper we could assign masterclass, the 2 centre backs. I don't know if Ola Aina's back. I can't.
He is back. He's back.
I can't do it. Can't do it.
Yes. What's your take, bro?
No, bro, you see, this is why the Brentford and Ipswich games were so flipping crucial. Right? Imagine if we'd actually sorted our business in those games. We wouldn't be having this conversation. It's like,
I think we're
But-
close to Arsenal if we win those two.
Bro, yeah, we'd be looking for second. But look, I think that is why what we've just outlined in terms of how this all could end is why this Newcastle game is actually really important now. Like, we done the business against Liverpool, and that's put a spring in our step because I don't think many were expecting that to happen, especially in the way that we did. Some will say, "Look, Liverpool on the beach. They still had a strong team on there. I don't. It's not, they didn't exactly play the kids, so I'm not using that as an excuse." But I think there's an importance here. There's an initiative to go and get a result at Newcastle. It wouldn't be the end of the world to get a draw, considering the ground and the team we're playing against. But if we win, it solves all our problems. But at that point,
So Eunice, what you're saying, like, go be aggressive against Newcastle
would you risk
home
losing
ground
to win? Yeah, would you risk losing to win?
Is that what you're saying, Eunice? Risk
I
losing to win.
No, I wouldn't go aggressive. I won't try and dominate or control the game. Not control is the wrong word. I wouldn't try to dominate the game. I'd take the same approach as we did against Liverpool. I think we're better that way. I think we're more clinical that way. But the aim shouldn't be to go to Newcastle. Let's try and get a draw, lads. Like the mentality of let's just not lose. No. We got to go and we got a win. Because if we win, it lifts pressure off the United game. It even lifts pressure off the Forest game. We build a gap. Now, considering you never know, sometimes things work in your favor and maybe Forest drop more points. If that happens, great, we're laughing. But we need to look at ourselves and build what we can build. The worst thing would be to go into that last day, Forest, it's basically a flipping final at their ground. And then 3 days later, we got to make sure we fly to Poland, play a Conference League final against a Real Betis team that can beat us. Like, I don't want us to be in that situation when we can prevent it now. So the Newcastle game, it won't be easy, but taking the same sort of leaf out of the book that we managed to get the job done against Liverpool for, I think it would be best to, be cautious, but go with the mentality of we need to go to St. James's Park and win. By any means necessary, we need to win.
Eunice, do you think Newcastle, they'll be looking at us this weekend with the same mentality that we got to go and beat these guys? Champions League position up for grabs. Yeah. We need to go out there and beat these guys. Or do you think they're looking at us going, ooh, they're in form. Let's not lose this.
No. They'll be going there to win because they're going to be at home. And they know they've got Arsenal next. And as much as we banter and we laugh and all of that, but from Newcastle's perspective, going away to Arsenal might be more difficult than playing at home to Chelsea in their eyes. Even though Arsenal don't have much to play for now, Chelsea do. I'm not saying it's easy, but from Newcastle's perspective, this is a home game that they have to take advantage of. So no, I think they're coming to win. So this is why when you're playing against someone that's coming all guns blazing, they have to win, and you're going, just don't lose. I think you put yourself in a mental trap. But I think if you can use that against them, they're coming to win, cool. This might actually work in our favor. Yeah, you can have a bit of the ball. Have a bit of the ball, but we got to kill.
This is a dangerous game, bro. This is a dangerous game, bro. This is a dangerous game, bro. I'm excited already. This is a dangerous game.
I would rather this than go to the last day and then do all of that.
I'm gonna reach into you. I'm gonna reach into Eunice's soul right now. What were the famous words of Jose Mourinho? We cannot lose. We cannot lose.
We cannot lose.
We cannot lose.
We cannot lose when we were trying to protect the lead, going to win the title. That's gravy.
Listen,
we need the points.
I hear it. When I say we cannot lose, all I'm saying is no funny business. So I get what you're saying about trying to win, but do not dare concede a goal because you're playing some foolish games and Sanchez is giving some loose passes on the press. I don't want none of that.
No mistake.
So what I'm saying
they got Aycec, bro. They got Aycec.
Safety first, bro. Safety first. I want to win the game, but I do not want to lose the game because we're trying to do foolishness. It needs to be a calculated performance. We're not just going to rock up to Newcastle away, a place where Arsenal have lost, a place where City have lost, a place where Liverpool
So
had a
many.
big one.
So
We ain't going
many.
to just rock up and just play our stuff. We got to be very clever, very calculated, very smart, because they're
Bro, their midfield's no joke either, bro. Sandro
not.
Tonali, Gomes. I don't know if Joe Linton's back. Is Joe Linton injured or I don't know what's going on. I didn't see him in the last
Newcastle
game.
beat Arsenal 3 times, bro. I need this to be a grown-ass man's performance.
Yeah.
That's what it needs
This
to be.
this is the biggest test till the end of the season, I feel. Because Man United, we should get the victory, but you never know what happens there. And Nottingham Forest is a good team. I don't disrespect that. This is the creme de la creme, man. This weekend, this is our biggest game, and it's against a big opposition. Gordon is back as well.
Yeah,
lads, I don't know how. Eunice, I think Eunice, do you realize who we're playing, bro? You know who we're playing, right?
Do we want Champions League football?
We do.
Yes,
We do.
That's
we
why
do.
we needed
Yes.
to beat fucking Ipswich. That's why we needed to beat Ipswich.
I know. This is what I was stressing back then.
This club pissed me off, because they didn't have to make it like this.
No, they didn't.
All you had to do was beat Ipswich Town
Yeah.
at home.
It's outrageous.
Why do you do this to yourself? Why?
I'm like so many emotions in one. I'm scared. I'm excited. I'm happy. I'm sad.
100%.
I'm everything. We're all going to be locked in, man. We're all going to be locked in come match day.
It's going to be a big one. It's going to be a big one.
This is a big game, bro. This is a huge game, man. Honestly, it is. All right, we'll park the game for a second. I think you guys, you know how we're all feeling, and you got a lot of excitement out of that. Eunice, let's talk a little bit about some transfer funny business that's been going on. I said to both of you guys a few months back when the show was still on Matisse's channel, I said, don't be surprised if the Strasbourg striker Emegha's name pops up. Don't be surprised. Both of you guys laughed at me.
Amigo free.
Nah, man, come on. No way. I know we're all about kids. I know we're all about, cheeky business, but not this level. Not the. Oh, David Ornstein saying, he's in the list. He's in the list.
Now, are you?
You're not laughing now. Eunice, talk to me. What do you know about Emegha, bro? Because you better know something about him.
I know absolutely squiddly do. I am not interested. Thank you very much. Man is not facilitating this. Yeah. Look, this link will actually make Jackson look good. Do you know what I mean? Like it's no. Listen, and we're talking about Champions League football. We've already illustrated this, and we started talking about this months ago. If we make Champions League football, this summer window is going to have to do some magical things because if we don't, we are getting smoked next season in the Champions League. We have to upgrade the squad. We have to upgrade the team. We need to build that elite spine, that core that we're not looking to make money of, but we're looking for to build around and have longevity for the next decade or so. Yeah, we need to be able to do that. We need top tier talent. Players that can come in and elevate our squad to compete in the Champions League. And if we're talking about a striker, I think it's pretty obvious that it's a Victor Osimhen. It's even if you go and trigger Gyökeres's release clause, you need to get someone of that caliber to come in and elevate. Okay, we get this brother from Strasbourg. Okay, well, so what's Margu doing now then? What was the point in that then? It doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? It doesn't compute. So look, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what the structure of this could be if we do. Like, would we sign him and then keep him at Strasbourg? And then is he someone we're just trying to make money from? It could be with these lot. God knows. There's so many unanswered things here that we don't know. But one thing's for sure, we can't be bringing in those sort of players to then go and play Champions League next season. Hell no.
Matisse, we saw in the past days the level that is required in the Champions League. And I think this is where certain fans recently have been saying, how we've been going through some good form, and we were all excited. And Miz, no, stay on that side. You've talked down on this team. Stay on that side. You don't get to be happy now that the team's doing well. And I'm like, why you act like I'm enemy of the state? Like I want my team to do well.
Why you say fuck me for?
Dude, I want my team to do well. I'm just annoyed at the kind of business they do. I'm annoyed at the way how we run our show every now and then. And it's this type of links. When I see Emegha, I see some brother saying in the live chat, you don't watch Strasbourg. How do you know this guy's not good? All I'm saying is, Matisse, you see the level that we saw a few days ago in the Champions League, whether it's Barcelona, Inter Milan, PSG, or Arsenal. We don't want to just be a number next season if we do make it to the Champions League. We want to be a serious club. I don't know if Emegha makes you a serious team. Do you know what I mean?
I'm gonna take a different approach. I obviously want Osimhen, especially after what I've been watching this season. I feel like this is a completely different opinion of last season, because I hadn't seen what Maresca was going to serve up and the way we were going to play. But watching Neto put crosses in, watching Enzo's chance creation, Cole Palmer's chance creation, watching the lack of aerial threat, watching the lack of box movement. I know Osimhen, as much as there are still some cons, there are a lot more pros. Gyökeres, I like him as a player. He's done it in the Championship, so I do believe that, he can physically cope with Premier League. He's been banging in goals. You're just getting someone that's just in cloud nine. There's a risk with Portuguese league top strikers and scorers, but I'm prepared to get hurt again, is what I'm saying. Right? we've the last couple of years, no Lukaku, right? We haven't had a big money striker. Number 9 is cursed. I'm ready to get hurt again, because I'm willing to risk the pain to potentially get the reward of a Premier League title. Because I do believe right now, if we took this window seriously in terms of we addressed our spine, which is what we should have done last year, we can go for the Premier League, because Man City are not at their very best, as we've seen this season. They need 5-6 players. Arsenal are mentally fragile. Liverpool are losing Trent. And yes, they still got Salah and Van Dijk, but this was a shock season. And to do 2 in a row is not easy. And they're not unstoppable with, I think our midfield can go up against theirs. Diaz, Jota, Gakpo, it's not life-changing. We're not seeing, crazy, we can try it with them. I don't think we'll necessarily do it, because it's massive to go from 70 max points to 90. But hey, I want to be involved. I want to be shoulder to shoulder minimum. I want to be, I want to be talking about it, competing.
You want to be in the same table, bro.
Yeah. So if you're going for big names that I think the dressing room, if they see these guys walk in, they think, rah, it's a serious season. That vibration and that shockwave goes around the Premier League. It puts pressure on us, expectation on us. It puts kind of a little bit of, there's a big name coming in. That's maybe a potential leader that goes into the dressing room and says, yo, let's do this. Do you know what I mean? That's the vibe those signings give. Now, the players that we've been talking about, the Liam Delaps and the Emegha Freeze and all these guys, they don't give off that vibe, because they're still developing and they're still young. And it's not fair to ask of young players to say you're going to lead Chelsea to a title in your first season, or you're going to lead Chelsea to a really strong title push in their first season. It's not fair. I'm not slamming the door in those players' faces, because I did the same with Samuel Marodion and Kevin Durant. And actually, in hindsight, those players would have improved us. And to be quite honest, any striker that is got good ball striking ability and that scores goals would improve us, because Jackson this season hasn't kicked on. He hasn't got the box movement. He hasn't got the finishing. So any striker really does improve us. Mateta improves us. But it's about, what do you want out of next season? I want to try and win the league. So I want to put pressure on us to try and win the league by bringing in players that mentally can handle the capacity of trying to go for a league. Not just technically, not just potentially in terms of longevity, resale value, mentally, I know them coming into the season, they are ready to try and win because that's what they've done or that's what they plan to do. I'm not talking about 2027, 2028. I'm not saying these young strikers that we're tracking are not good and they don't have potential because they clearly do, right? 14 goals, 27 games at Strasbourg. That's a good return. But it's about what do you want to try and do next season. If you're bringing in one of these strikers and they're playing second fiddle to the main man, I'm all no problem. That does cause a bit of a problem for Jackson, maybe in the squad. That causes problems for Mark Guiu. But, you know, that's your prerogative. But it just, you can build this attack many ways. Yeah, that's life. You can build this attack many ways. If you bring in that type of striker, in my opinion, at bare minimum, then you've got to go and get like a Rodrigo or someone at left wing. You got to go and go crazy on the left wing. You can't be getting a striker like that and then saying, all right, we've seen enough from Madueke. Mudrik's back from the ban. Okay, cool. You're just doing top four again. Champions League qualification. You're not going for the league. Snag a cup. That's all you're on, right? Champions League knocked out in maybe the round of 16 quarterfinals. That's what you're on. Go and get a Rodrigo now, especially Champions League qualification, extra 20% Caicedo wages. Go and get an Osimhen. Negotiate that contract. Gyökeres. Okay. Even if we don't win the league, I know you want to win the league. I know you're trying to win the league. Fairs. So that's what it's about. It's about the mentality for me.
Yeah, you got to show the intent. You got to show the intent.
It's about the intent. If you're bringing in this kid, just don't expect him to lead us to a title. It's not fair. So it will take him 2-3 seasons. Same with Sesko, Delap, this kid, any of these guys, they're all in the same category for me. They're understudies. They're not to be relied upon for 38 games. And that's what we need. We've already got an understudy in Jackson. We've already got an understudy. We've already got a developing striker. I need someone like a Diego Costa when we signed him under Mourinho with Fabregas, Felipe Luis. Go and get the finishing touches to make us serious. You've already done the scouting. You've already done all of the developing players and potential and the Penders and the Gues and the... Go and get me some killers. Go and get me some ruthless brothers. Because I judge our window based upon our intent and also what others do. If you want to miss out on Aycec, but Liverpool get him. If you want to miss out on Gyökeres, but Arsenal get him. If you want to miss out on Osimhen, but someone else in the Premier League gets him. Those are going to have its repercussions.
We're already going to be behind their ball. We're already going to be behind them.
It's not just about what you do. It's about what your competitors do. You could be happy 100%. With a signing one day, and then the next day someone goes and does something even better. And then you're like, oh shit, our sign is not looking so good anymore because people are willing to have Sancho on a permanent. But what if I told you Liverpool signed Rodrigo? People are willing to have Sancho on a permanent. But what if I told you Arsenal go and get Barcola? What the fuck are you going to do then? So this is what I'm trying to say. It's all well and good having this little fairy tale. Oh, yeah, I'll take that. I'll take this. Yeah, I don't want to be too greedy. But then if the rivals and the ops go and get the players that are available, that are top players, you're not winning the league. You're not even coming close. So it's about intent. And for me, the intent should be aim for the league. And if you don't get it, you go again the next year. You get some cups or whatever, but just go for it. Because people think, you can just like plan for this and plan for that. I'd rather try and get it whilst it's available and I can see it's there, then let City finish off their rebuild. Maybe Pep wants to go on a dynasty again, and then you're trying to get it mid-2-peat, mid-3-peat. You know what I mean? Liverpool.
Absolutely.
It's kind of, the doors ajar. Bro, Liverpool have shown the doors a little bit open.
No team's sitting around, bro. All of these other teams, even Man United, obviously City, Arsenal, Liverpool, they're all going to be looking at having a huge summer window. And if we think we're going to be okay with, just bit part players, I'm telling you, Matisse is right. Next season, it's no more top 4 business. Like, you compete for the Premier League now. It's been a long time. You start competing for Premier League, and if you're in the Champions League, you better start showing good intent in that competition as well. I'm not saying go out there and you must win Champions League. I'm saying don't just scrape into the qualification. What is it, like the top 8, and then from 9th till 24, you just scraped it in and you're scraping in everything and then you're eliminated in the second round, the round of 16 or whatever it is. Like, no, you make yourself count. You try and get to a quarterfinal of a Champions League. It wasn't that long ago that we were Champions League winners. Like, it really wasn't that long ago.
Do you know what it is?
Literally a few seasons back.
Do you know what it is? Yeah, it's we're almost 10 years without a title. And the thing is with Osimhen, right? I laid out all of my concerns with Osimhen last summer. Nothing's changed because he's done something in the Turkish league. But what I've understood now with Osimhen is that there's pros, big pros, aerial ability, press.
There's a certain skill set. There's a certain skill set. Yeah.
And we would probably have to adapt our game a little bit to him or whatever. There's cons. But if you're taking a gamble and you're saying, right, we're trying to get a striker that can get 20 Premier League goals. I'm not saying he's going to get it, but that's the plan. The plan is you can get 20 Premier League goals. You're capable. If we service you and you hit the ground running, I know mentally you can get 20 Premier League goals. Whereas I know if we sign some of these other guys that are still developing and are still going to have to also acclimatize to where we play because they're coming from teams that maybe don't dominate the ball as much or have a bit of more transition or whatever, not as many low blocks. I know they're not going to necessarily get those 20 goals. And that's what it's about for me. The guys that we're linked with, they're not getting 20 Premier League goals for me.
Yeah.
Osimhen could. Gyökeres could. And that risk of they could be title-winning strikers is worth the risk, in my opinion, as to thinking they won't be title-winning Premier League strikers. I'd rather go for a title Premier League winning striker than be scared and say, actually, let's be more cautious. Because Palmer, Enzo, Caicedo, we got a couple of players here and there that I think they can perform over a 38-game period for a title race. And if we just put a couple more pieces in, we can do it. I don't want us to be in this kind of situation where we're thinking, we've always just got loads of time on our hands and just do it in 2030. Wait for everybody. Wait for Esteval to be 25 years of age. The mentality seems to be we're always going to buy young, which means we're always going to have an excuse if we want to make one. We can't do it yet because Quendes isn't here. We can't do it yet because Esteval's in his first season. We can't do it yet because Pendes isn't in goal. I can see
and
that.
It will always be that we can't do it. It will always be that we can't.
Look at Arsenal. There's always a fucking excuse with Arsenal. We can't do it because someone was injured. We can't do it because we had 10 men. We can't do it because we're still on a journey. We can't do it because we're still in a process. We can't do it because we don't have a striker. We can't do it because we don't have a 10. We can't do it because Wanyeri's not 21. I'm not trying to be that club.
Yep.
I don't need everything to be perfect to win. I just need enough pieces in the puzzle and then we'll make the rest of it work. Do you think Havertz was meant to be a Champions League winning striker? Do you think Werner was meant to be a Champions League winning striker? No. Do you think Mendy was a Champions League winning goalkeeper? No. But you get enough pieces of the puzzle and then you make the rest of it work because that's what winners do. Man United haven't got all the pieces. They're going to do 3 trophies in 3 years. I don't want all of these excuses because it's very easy to keep accumulating young player after young player and then say, actually, we're not ready yet because this, because that, because this. No, you can get yourself ready. Get yourself ready.
100%. Yunus, you know what? This is probably one of the reasons why, because Matisse doesn't do daily content in terms of like news and stuff, right? He stays away from all of that. But you and me, we cover this. You probably get the same flack as I do at times. You see the good sort of momentum we're building, right? And then you hear news like an Emegha. Both of us get, see, this is what we get upset about. Like, we're trying to make Champions League, all the stuff that Matisse said. We want to be competing for the Premier League next season. We want to be, taken seriously in the Champions League. These are the reasons why, Yunus, certain parts of the fan base, we get upset that get serious. Like, we've now got there. Let's get serious. Let's actually operate in a serious manner and not just keep continuing with this youthful project, another kid after another kid. Emegha should not be linked. He should not even be in the list. I'm sorry. Do you know what I mean? You know, it's like this is why we get upset at times, right?
Completely. I mean, it's how long does this go on for? Because normally you do things in reverse. Normally you would get top players, build what you have to build, and then you start throwing young players here and there at it in order to get them to develop. Whereas we've done it the other way around. We've done more than enough in terms of youth. We now need to go and get some flipping, some concrete up in here. We're still, chilling and trying to build with plasterboard that we're hoping is going to hold. It's like, it's not happening. We need concrete. So when you're looking to compete in the Champions League, you need Champions League level players.
Yeah.
And it's not like we've had a good balance heading into where we are now. We've taken one complete extreme. We need that balance. And it's not necessarily in terms of technical ability. We're living in an age now where people look at numbers and they think they have everything solved on the player. And that's why I think this player like an Osimhen gets criticism for not being good enough. And then you hear about what are the alternatives? And they'll tell you, oh, no, there's this developing player. But we don't need just technical ability. You're thinking tactic. You're thinking, just strictly on a footballing level on the pitch. There's a mental aspect to this that is so crucial. There's a leadership aspect to this that is so crucial. There's a spiritual element to this that is so important that we know we lack. That's what we need. You need someone that is going to come in, not just someone. You need a spine that's going to come in and hold it down against the best. And a player like Osimhen, I feel like has got the mental capacity to know and handle that pressure, that environment, that level on a consistent basis. Plus, will he get you goals? Yeah, he will.
100%.
I think there's an element of PTSD as well because of Lukaku,
yeah.
and because of what happened. And I feel like it's important to illustrate that, even on a footballing level, we were frustrated at times with some of the things he was missing, if you remember, and then thumbs up and all that. But that went hand in hand. That went hand in hand with what he decided to do, which was off the pitch. If he didn't do what he did, who knows? He might still be here today. It was because of what he did off the pitch that blew everything and ruptured the entire relationship, that got us to look at him at a different way. And I think people look at Lukaku and go, oh, we spent so much money and look what happened. So they don't want that to happen again. And they're like, if we can manage the money side and try and get someone cheap who can score a few goals here, we might be all right and he'll develop into a top striker. You're wishing. We've done enough wishing. We've done enough wishing and we've got enough players to wish about. That's not what's going to get us to perform in the Champions League. We need priority. We need levels. And I feel like there's some people that look to the extreme. When we talk about getting in top quality or experience, they start quoting the 34 and 35-year-olds. Oh, that's experience, but look, he flopped. But the same people that will tell you to just not focus on age are the ones that will focus on age when it comes to the other extreme. Like, no, you need, even if it's youngish players or players in their prime, that have a good amount of experience, that have been there and done it at a level. We're not going to get this player. But look at the clinic that Bastoni put in against Barcelona. He's 26 though. But you look at the longevity that he's got. That's what we're talking about. You don't need to be old. You need to have gone around the block and you need to be able to handle a certain level.
Even Thuram. How old's Thuram for Inter Milan? How old's he? I'm pretty sure he's not old. Less than 25.
Yeah, is he 25? Yeah. Hang on.
I think
even
when
last season when I wanted Elise has 3 Premier League seasons under his belt. He's young, but he would have been perfect. He's ready to go into a top team and be one of the top attackers and lead you to silverware. That was my opinion. I feel like when we're talking about developing young players, I think there's a crucial part that people forget. What Reece James said about Walsh should be an example. You need those type of characters around said young players that you're bringing in and buying so they can develop properly. When they're at the training ground, they need people to learn off. If you want Jackson to become a better striker, give him a striker to inspire to be like in training.
Correct.
Not that he has to be watching DVDs every day. There's someone actually in training that he's doing shooting practice with, not just coaches, someone that he can talk to. Defenders, same thing applies. How much was learned off Thiago Silva's, etc., Rudiger's, because they're around, they're telling you little things every day. These are the things that we can't quantify for as a fan base because we're not at the training ground, we're not there on a daily basis. You want to develop Santos, you want to develop these players, give them a couple of guys that are handling business at the top level, that have won things or that are ready to win things, and you'll see better from them. I keep saying it with the centre-backs. Everybody thinks all of our centre-backs are bums. They're not. We got some good centre-backs, but they don't have the balance alongside them to say, actually, thanks for helping me in this game. You've helped me with my positioning, or keep the offside line and the trap, whatever, Colwell, if he's struggling with that. The wingers, when the wingers are creating chances and they should be getting assists, but they're not because there's no striker putting the chances away, and then they're less confident because they're thinking, rah, people are going to think in this modern age, you look at my GNA for the season. Yeah, we know your assist should be higher, but no one's putting the chances away. It's making you look worse. Cole Palmer, maybe he wouldn't be sending shots at social media if he had more assists and his numbers were higher, and people wouldn't be on his case as much with the finishing because the striker would be putting away his chances. Neto maybe might not be shushing the crowd if he got more assists, even though he's not scoring, because the striker will be putting his chances away. So we need to start actually making a squad that helps the young players that we've brought in. I keep saying, we got some talented young players, but we don't necessarily give them the best environment to actually kick on and develop.
Exactly.
And then we can't judge said recruitment properly because we never developed or gave them a good chance in the first place. So for me, this season, and I said this last summer, and I say it this summer, do not do too much. Just do what you need to do. I don't want to see 10 players in the door. We don't need another revolving door. We don't need 10 new squad. Buy 3-4 players, and that is it.
That's it.
Because how many times are we going to get to deadline day and we don't have a development plan for this player? We don't have a loan deal sorted. And then you start rushing the loan deals, and then you don't develop the young players that actually, if you just given them good loan deals, they would have kicked on, then you would have been able to sell them or integrate them. You already got enough. You don't have enough clubs in the multi-club model to add more young players anyway. There's a restriction on how many loans you can do with FIFA's quota. Buy what you need to buy, sell all of the dross, and leave it at that.
Because it unsettles the team as well. It unsettles the team. All of these players, like João Felix,
the manager. It unsettles the manager when he's trying to figure out his best team. But then you're bringing in a whole. Just do what you need to do and do nothing else. I am not here trying to do surgery and science on 10 players, 10 links, breaking news every day. I'm not interested. Just buy who you need to buy in the positions we know we need to address, and that is it. Can you do that for me, Chelsea?
Do you know what? I get the feeling it's not going to be like that, Matisse. They'll be here to disappoint again because I don't know. This ownership, they love the transfer window. They really do. They love non-stop business. With the amount of players we need gone, it's like nearly 15. And then I'm pretty sure they're going to, every market opportunity there is, they'll be on it. They'll be on it. And it's unsettling. I'm pretty sure it's unsettling for the players. It's unsettling for the manager. And, you know, the stuff that we did last summer, we try to clean that up in the January window. So you can imagine how unsettling that would have been for the manager. We brought in Renato Viga. The guy plays for Juventus now.
Yep. He'll be leaving.
Do you know how mad that is? I'm pretty sure he will be leaving because he ain't coming back. Not to start anymore. He starts for Juventus. He ain't coming here not to start. And on top, we're looking for more defenders. So he's leaving. João Felix, he's another unsettling character for us, right? He wants to start. He's probably always in behind Maresca's back. You're going to start me. You're going to start me. You're going to start me. Yeah, Maresca doesn't need all of that stuff, and then we'll see how it all pans out for Maresca as well. Like he's a developing manager as well. So
we signed Jorgensen last summer. People are looking to sell him because he's now looking like he's not even better than Sanchez after what I've been watching in against Legia Warsaw.
Yeah,
we
and Sanchez is not even good.
Yeah, he's not even good. We signed Dewsbury Hall. We're looking to sell him.
Yep.
So as much as we done at Esteval, that was a big bit of business. Neto, cool. If you give him a striker that can head the ball, that could work. But you got to stop doing all of these deals that don't go anywhere for more than 6 months as well, because it just kind of stifles the energy in the group when you've got these guys that they're of no use. And listen, the Conference League was like a fake pump, because here's all these extra games, here's all these opportunities to get minutes. Everybody's going to be happy, but really nobody wants to play these games of any stature. Any player that's worth anything don't want to play these games. So
no one wants to play against Noah FC. Come on, bro. Let's be honest. No one wants to play against Joe Garden. All right, lads, we're going to wrap it up. We're going to just quickly go through some super chat and we'll wrap things up. Roman's Descendant, thank you, my man. I just wanted to big up the guys up the Chelsea. Appreciate that a lot. Thank you so much. Assad, Achampong as good as Hussein with game time waste of money. Do you know what? You might have some validity on that. Do you know what I mean? Like, similarly how Matisse was saying, Matisse Omogo, like, what was the point of that? You got Reggie Walsh, who you can give those minutes to and slowly build him up. So this is what we don't want to see in the summer. Like, I think we're going to be in for Hussein. I really do think now it's probably going to happen. Does it need to happen? Probably not. But it's going to happen. It's probably going to happen. Brian, thank you, my man. We best not lose to Pellegrini and Anthony combo. It's going to be it's going to be interesting how we finish the season, because this is literally 3 days after. So, yeah, the mood, we shall see how we turn up for that final. Hopefully, we win it, obviously. Assad, once again, thank you, my man. We get embarrassed in the Champions League. Woke inverting football, guys. This inverting thing is not a thing with Chelsea. There's a lot of these teams who are starting to play that three at the back and invert and whatnot. I know Inter Milan doesn't. They play the classical wing backs and whatnot. Even Barcelona, they don't necessarily invert the wing backs, but they do play with the three defenders, and they compensate with having midfield as opposed to being in midfield, and then the fullbacks overlapping. Sometimes their fullbacks do come into midfield, so it's not unique to Chelsea. That's what I'm trying to say.
Although
some like it, some don't like it.
We do it so obviously.
Yeah,
you know that's the issue. We do it so it's so predictable. It's like, oh, he's about to come inside. Oh, there he is. He's come inside.
But you know what, Eunice? You know what? Like, Cucurella does that well, though. Like, you want him to do that.
Cucurella does that well.
Yeah.
Cucurella does
Malo
that
Gusto doesn't. Cucurella doesn't. Like, if you have another Cucurella on the other side, you'd be like, I'm okay with that, because they perform correctly doing that.
But Cucurella also offers you something else. He doesn't just drag himself into midfield and then just stay there and that's it. But you see him bombing forward. You see him get involved in attacks. Even on times you actually do see him overlap. He's doing loads of things, which is how other teams tend to use this function of, if you're bringing someone into midfield, they're also doing other things. Whereas sometimes we can be just really one-dimensional. With other players, it's just like, okay, he's inverted. Now he's gone back. He's inverted. It's like it's so predictable. So yeah, I feel like we need to have a little bit more flexibility with the way we play.
Yeah, now look, do I always enjoy the way we play? No, of course I don't. But at the same time, this is the manager that our board and our owners, they love him, man. They do. They like him. So, and as I've always said, you can change the manager. I'm not even that close. Like, I don't feel any affiliation or any sort of affection towards the manager, but you're not going to get any elite manager after this anyway. You're going to get someone who's another developing manager. We were linked with Kieran McKenna and Maresca last season. So that should tell you that you asking for a manager to go, you're going to get someone who's probably even a lesser candidate than who we have right now. EA, thank you, my man. Not to worry, guys. Strasbourg will qualify for the Champions League, we pray, which will prohibit all transfer permanent loan between both clubs. I don't think so. I think there's a bit of a loophole in that, which I was reading into. And I think Eunice recently did a video on it as well. I think what Chelsea can do is they can create like another trust entity that will own Strasbourg. Ultimately, it all goes down to Blueco, but they'll show that the immediate owner is this trust entity that's separate to Chelsea. This is how Man City and Girona, they've played Champions League football against each other. Man City have bought Savio from Savinha from Girona. I think Leipzig teams do the same sort of thing at Champions League. So, Eunice, you know more about this, bro. Do you want to shed some light?
So it's come out today. Blueco have been speaking with UEFA since January. Apparently, dealing with this structure and putting it in place in case something happens, they can turn to that straight away. So that's actually good to hear, because I was actually waiting to see, like, have you guys actually been doing anything, or are we gonna get a little bit in the mud? Because Nottingham Forest they've already done it. They've already resolved it. I was like, so what about us? What are we doing? Well, I said, okay, cool. If they've got things in place and it's been in there since January, then fair enough. Then I'm happy. But that's strictly for the participation of both teams in the Champions League. Whether we can do deals between ourselves if we are both competing in the same competition is a different story. Because UEFA, I mean, if Strasbourg go into a blind trust, do UEFA recognize that as, okay, you can both compete, but are they going to allow, in terms of dealings, in terms of FFP?
Well, we have the SAR transfer, isn't it? That whole situation with the 19-year-old centre back.
Yeah,
Mamadou Sarr. Yeah.
The issue is Man City and Girona are not doing business together, or any other team. They're not switching players between themselves. We're doing that with Strasbourg. That's the issue here.
Yeah.
Will that be allowed? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. If we both compete in the Champions League, God knows.
It's the first time we've had this situation. Even Vitesse was not under our arm or under our wing like this, were they? So I don't know. But listen, if you tell me that we're not signing anyone from Strasbourg this summer, I don't think I'll shed any tears. But if we can't loan anyone, then that's a problem. That's a bit of a problem, because that's the only club we can loan our players to that we actually know.
Correct.
They're going to develop and they're going to get opportunities, because it's a good communication with them. Whereas, as you saw with other clubs, they don't give a shit. They'll leave.
Look at, for example, Andre Santos. Like, what a loan that has turned out to be with Strasbourg. We've sent him to Nottingham Forest the season before, and it didn't work out. So, it's a problem. The loan is the problem.
Petrovic.
Whether we can get permanent deals. Petrovic, and apparently the plan was to send Kendry Paez over there next season. So
Penders
Penders as well. That will be a problem. Before we wrap things up, Nixon has been spamming this all you can eat live watch along Sunday. Please look, Nixon. I don't know whether we can promise you Sunday, but I will talk to the boys one day in the future. I don't know what day that might be, what year that might be, but one day. We'll try and collate all of us and see if we can do a watch along on a Chelsea match. I think that'll pop off. But I'm not really sure whether we can promise this Sunday, but it's something that we've definitely talked about. It's just a matter of when, how, where. But someday, just not Sunday. Eunice, my man, what you got coming up until the Newcastle game?
So there'll be a double upload today. I think news videos, one definitely Chelsea related with well, kind of what we've discussed here, but adding on, as well as there's the Xabi Alonso news. It's looking like that's going to get confirmed today. Yeah. He's off to Real Madrid. Another world's worst kept secret finally revealed. So that, and then tomorrow is Newcastle Chelsea preview. I'll see if there's any watch along for any other game that I can fit in. Well, if I do, maybe Villa 5:30 kickoff might be one to watch. Sunday is Chelsea day, and then Liverpool Arsenal El Clasico. Yeah, we got loads to do on Sunday. So
wow, yeah,
that's that.
Matisse, Emegha, what you got on, bro?
Oh man, yeah, I'm just waiting on that Newcastle game. Newcastle watch along. Review, then the mob for Liverpool versus Arsenal, which I'm just there to laugh at Turkish. I'll be honest. That's literally all I'm doing. Just going there to laugh at him, and then we move on to next week, and we'll see. I'm trying to get that ticket now for that final. I need that ticket.
I thought you already have that ticket.
No, I've booked it. I think the tickets. Well, UEFA was one of the ways, but I've not seen anything back from UEFA. And then obviously Chelsea got to release their batch. So there's multiple ways to get it, but I don't really care how I get it. I just need it, and then we move. But I've got everything.
On a more serious note, your missus all right with you now?
Yeah.
You didn't sleep on the floor last night?
Nah.
All right.
I'll be honest, everybody's got their way of leaving the doghouse. I'm sure we all have our ways. You know what I mean? Me, I just have to smile when I walk into the room, take the absolute piss out of everything, and if I don't take it seriously, how can you take it seriously? You know what I mean? that's my method to the madness.
That's too funny, man. With me, an interesting game that's happening tonight, UK time, 8 p.m. Frank Lampard's Coventry is up against Sunderland, I believe. I may do the watch along for that and cheer on Frank Lampard. So we'll see. I think that's an interesting game. Championship, can Frank make it into Premier League? Besides that, nothing else, to be honest. And then we just shape up for the Newcastle game. So obviously we've got this, and then the championship game. I think that's the most important one that's coming up. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Go on.
The Liverpool Arsenal game on Sunday. That's at Anfield. Do Arsenal have to give them a guard of honor?
They will. They will.
Yeah, they will. They have to. We did.
They will. It's bad enough that they are on 67 points and probably will have the gap extended to like 23 or whatever it will be. They have to give that guard of honor. They've already embarrassed themselves enough this week with the post-match interviews and the nonsense. If they don't give a guard of honor, I'm telling you, they're going to get absolutely slaughtered on social media.
Give the guard of honor.
I was going to say, we all have to support Liverpool. You're on the mob. Liverpool got to win that game all day long.
I don't think we even need to do nothing. They're going to batter them, bro.
Look, if Arsenal don't finish second in a 2-horse race, right? They finish third or something.
Bro, Arsenal could be in deep trouble after this weekend, Like, I think City can take them over, and if we do our business, we could be just a point away. They could be in trouble, man. And then they got Newcastle after. So, give the guard of honor, know your role, and shut your mouth, Arsenal. Give that guard of honor and peacefully give that 3 points to Liverpool and get yourself out of Anfield. Do you know what I mean? Like, F off, mate. Like, just know your role. That's pretty much it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Smash up the like button. And if you're here for the first time, subscribe to the lads if you haven't by any chance. So do that. Until next time, everyone, take care. See ya.